Ah, the mighty Neo Geo. You were indeed a powerful machine, and you were sought after by many a gamer back in the mid-90s heyday of the Mega Drive and the SNES. You were considered to be one of the holy grails of gaming. However, you never really took off in this country like those other two consoles did, mainly because the system itself cost over £600 and it was about 200 quid per game. Even though I was a devoted Sega Mega Drive fan, that still didn't stop me from gazing longingly at Neo Geo titles being played on TV shows like Games Master and Games World, where lucky boys and girls, and even old age pensioners, got to slap the crap out of each other on titles like Art of Fighting and King of the Monsters. But I knew that there was going to be very little chance of me actually owning a Neo Geo cartridge for myself. Until now. Well, sort of. Let's take a look. So yes, today I'm taking a look at another Evercade cartridge. This time it's the turn of Neo Geo Arcade 1, featuring 6 classic titles. Considering that Neo Geo games used to cost about £200 each back in the day, and there's 6 games on this humble little cartridge that I got for £20, that makes a saving of 1,180 quid. Which isn't bad. As before with my review of Data East Arcade 1, I'll be playing this on my Super Pocket, but I'll also be playing this on my recently acquired Evercade EXP-R. Be sure to check out my previous videos where I reviewed both of these two excellent devices here on my channel. I have a playlist now set up where all of the Evercade and Super Pocket related videos can be found easily. One thing that I didn't mention in my review for Data East Arcade 1 is that all of the Evercade cartridges come in these lovely plastic clamshell cases, like a mini version of what Sega Mega Drive games came in. Each cartridge also comes with a full colour manual that gives you a little bit of history about the games and how to play them, including what each button does. Another nice little throwback to gaming in the 1990s. Some of these collections will come with some little extras as well, like stickers or replicas of the original arcade flyers. For Neo Geo Arcade 1 and with all the other Neo Geo cartridges for Evercade, we've got a reversible cover. Now you can either go with the purple and white colour scheme like the other Evercade Arcade Collection cartridges have got, or you can embrace the black and gold of the Neo Geo. Which do you think looks better? So anyway, let's go on to the games themselves. There are 6 in total on this cartridge, and we're getting some absolute corkers here. Metal Slug, The King of Fighters 2000, Ironclad, Magician Lord, Sengoku, and Shock Troopers. And like with my previous reviews, I'll be covering these games in chronological order of their original release. So, without further ado, let's begin. Kicking off our Neo Geo Arcade 1 collection is Magician Lord, originally released in arcades on the 26th of April 1990. Developed by Alpha Densey and published by SNK, this action platformer was actually one of the launch titles for the Neo Geo MVS system and came packed in with the home AES console when it launched in 1991. Magician Lord is a fiendishly difficult side-scrolling adventure that draws clear inspiration from classics like Ghouls and Ghosts and Rastan, but it adds its own twist with transformation mechanics reminiscent of Sega's Altered Beast, where you'll find yourself changing into different powerful forms as you battle through beautifully crafted but utterly punishing stages. This was one of those early Neo Geo games that absolutely blew people away when the system first hit the scene. The colourful, detailed graphics and incredible sound really showcased what SNK's powerhouse hardware could do. And it's easy to see why it received such praise for being a technical showcase. However, that brutal difficulty was divisive even back in 1990. Whilst critics loved the presentation, many found the challenge overwhelming, and the game unfortunately became something of a commercial flop in arcades. Modern retrospective reviews echo similar sentiments, praising the audiovisual spectacle whilst criticising that absolutely unforgivably brutal gameplay. Honestly, the game hasn't aged tremendously well, but I still absolutely love it. Sometimes you need that old school, teeth-gritting challenge that reminds you why arcade games ate up so many coins back in the day. At least we're getting to play this game on a modern gaming handheld like the Super Pocket or the EXP-R. You can keep hitting that select button to keep adding in those virtual coins and keep playing. You never know, you might even be able to complete the game now thanks to this. Next up we have Sengoku, originally released on the 12th of February 1991. This is a side-scrolling beat-em-up, a genre that I absolutely love, as some of my previous videos have probably made abundantly clear, and this is the first entry in SNK's Sengoku trilogy. You'll find yourself battling through hordes of samurais, demons and other supernatural foes across Earthbound stages. But Sengoku throws in a unique twist. Several times per stage, you'll be whisked away to the heavens to take on enemies in the sky, adding a nice variety to the typical beat-em-up formula. You can pick up weapons to use against your enemies, but more importantly, defeating certain foes will allow you to temporarily transform into different characters. You might become a backflipping ninja, an armoured samurai, or even a dog. It's a mechanic that keeps combat interesting and adds strategic depth to when and how you use these more powerful forms. I'll be honest, the hit detection can be pretty rough, requiring you to get uncomfortably close to your enemies in order to land hits, and the animation feels quite stiff by today's standards. But despite these technical shortcomings, Sengoku is still a lot of fun to play through. And if you enjoyed this one, then you're in luck, as the sequels appear on other Evercade collections, with Sengoku 2 due to make an appearance on the second Neo Geo cartridge, and Sengoku 3 available on the Neo Geo version of the Super Pocket.
Metal Slug!
Now we come to an absolute classic that every Neo Geo collection needs, Metal Slug. Released on the 19th of April 1996, this run-and-gun masterpiece was developed by NASCAR Corporation, and it was published by SNK for the Neo Geo MVS arcade system. Metal Slug was actually conceived by the same staff who created several IREM titles, like In the Hunt and Gun Force 2, which explains why those games have that distinctive look that could quite easily pass for early Neo Geo titles. The DNA is absolutely there. The action here is incredible, and that's in no small part due to all the fine details packed into every frame. The sprite animation was completely unprecedented for its time. It was like nothing most people had ever seen before. Every movement, every explosion, every tiny background detail was crafted with an obsessive level of artistry that still holds up today. There's so much character in those details, and more than a little bit of humour as well. There is never a dull moment in this game where you don't have something to do or something to enjoy looking at. And that's why it's one of the Neo Geo's very best games, and it actually gave the system a second lease of life. Now what's remarkable is that this game arrived during a period when 3D graphics were taking over the industry. Yet, Metal Slug forced everyone's attention right back to the Neo Geo. The game was so visually stunning and mechanically polished that it single-handedly sparked a resurgence for SNK's system when many thought its time had passed. Simply put, everyone needs to play this game at least once. No collection of Neo Geo titles is complete without a Metal Slug game, and thankfully we're getting numerous more Metal Slug sequels coming up on other Neo Geo cartridges. So this is just the beginning of the Metal Mayhem. So keep that heavy machine gun and that rocket launcher on standby. Next up is quite an obscure one. Even I hadn't heard of this one before I picked up the collection. Ironclad, released on the 20th of September 1996, is a horizontally scrolling shooter that was exclusive to the Neo Geo CD system and was only ever released in Japan. But here's something interesting. If you played the game on a North American Neo Geo CD system, it would actually display the Ironclad title screen, and everything else for that matter, in English. So the localization work had already been done, but it just never made it to Western shores officially. Very odd. Gameplay-wise, you pilot a plane accompanied by a small support unit that you can maneuver around to help take down enemies. It's a neat mechanic that adds a bit of tactical depth to the shooting action. After completing each stage, you get to choose your next area, very much like Taito's arcade classic Darius. A nice touch that gives you some choice over your progression, and it encourages you to play the game over and over again to try out the different routes. This is actually a pretty solid shooter, and it's the perfect definition of a hidden gem that Evercade is now introducing to an eager new audience who completely missed out on it the first time round. Sometimes the best discoveries are the games that slip through the cracks, and Ironclad is exactly that kind of pleasant surprise that makes these collections so worthwhile. More like this please, Evercade. Shock Troopers is next, and this is one of my absolute favourites in the collection. Originally released in arcades on the 11th of November 1997, this run and gun gem was developed by Saurus and published by SNK. The gameplay puts you in command of a group of soldiers in an 8-way shooter format, and I can say without hesitation, this is the best overhead run and gun game on the Neo Geo system. It draws clear inspiration from Capcom's arcade shooters like Commando and Mercs, but it executes the formula so brilliantly. Right from the start, you're given meaningful choices that affect your entire playthrough. You can select Lonely Wolf mode for the traditional 3 lives per continue experience, or you can opt for Team Battle, where you control 3 different characters who can be switched between at will. Going solo will give you a higher starting life total, whilst the team approach offers a wider variety of weapons and spreads your health across multiple characters. The route selection system is fantastic as well. At the beginning, you choose between mountain, jungle or valley paths, and halfway through you can switch to a different route or stick with your current one. This means that the different routes ensure that you'll be playing through varied areas each time. It'll be quite a while before you repeat the same route twice. The action is absolutely intense and the music is deliciously funky. I honestly can't say enough good things about this one. Now, there is a sequel, Shock Troopers Second Squad, which is available as one of the built-in games on the Neo Geo version of the Super Pocket, but I really don't think it's quite as good. All the graphics have been pre-rendered, making it look like preschool Shock Troopers, and there's a massive amount of slowdown that affects nearly the entire game. Stick with the original, it's sheer shoot-'em-up perfection. And finally, we come to the last game on the collection, The King of Fighters 2000, released on the 26th of July in the year 2000, funnily enough. For those unfamiliar, the King of Fighters series was SNK's ambitious crossover fighting game, featuring characters from other Neo Geo titles like Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury and Akari Warriors, amongst others. The series kicked off with King of Fighters 94 and continued annually for years, eventually culminating with the King of Fighters 15, which was released on the 17th of February 2022. By that point they'd stopped the annual releases and had adopted a Roman numeral format instead. The core concept is brilliant. You choose a team of 3 fighters and face off against another team of 3. You need to defeat each of their fighters in individual one-round matches to win the overall bout. If all 3 of your characters get KO'd, you lose. It's a cool team-based twist on traditional fighting games. What's interesting is that this particular cartridge includes King of Fighters 2000, which seems like an odd choice. You'd think they would have included one of the earlier, more celebrated entries instead. There's actually some messy history behind King of Fighters 2000. SNK weren't doing very well financially when KOF 2000 came out, and it actually ended up being the last King of Fighters game they made before their troubles started. There were supposedly only 100 English home cartridges produced, although even that number is debatable. The whole situation is a bit murky, to be honest with you. But as a game, it's pretty solid, although fair warning, it can be a real pain trying to execute some of the special moves when playing this on the Super Pocket. Those complex motion inputs weren't really designed for this form factor. Then again, I had the same problem with trying to pull off special moves on Street Fighter 2 Turbo as well, on the Capcom edition of the Super Pocket, so this problem isn't just related to King of Fighters. And to be honest, I did have a slightly easier time playing King of Fighters on the Super Pocket than I did with Street Fighter 2, and it was a little easier trying to do the moves on the EXP-R thanks to that device's somewhat superior D-pad. So overall, this is a really solid collection of games and a great way for Evercade to kick off their Neo Geo cartridge series. As most Neo Geo games only use 4 buttons, it was easy to play these games on both devices, as you only need to worry about using the face buttons, no need to be messing about with the shoulder buttons at all. One thing to bear in mind though is that whilst you can change the button configuration on the EXP-R, you can't do that on the Super Pocket. So if you're not keen on the layout of the buttons for jumping and shooting on Metal Slug, for example, well, you're going to have to put up with that, I'm afraid. Now, I know it sounds like I'm having a go at the Super Pocket, but I'm not. I'm really not. And I would, without a doubt, recommend that you get this cartridge if you have a Super Pocket. It makes for a great companion for the smaller handheld. In fact, if you've got the Neo Geo version of the Super Pocket, then you really do owe it to yourself to get this cartridge to go with it anyway. My personal favourites on this collection were definitely Metal Slug, Shock Troopers and Sengoku. Games I originally enjoyed playing in the arcades back in the day and later rediscovered on SNK Arcade Classics Volume 1 for the Nintendo Wii, which I've actually reviewed on this channel before. I particularly appreciated getting the chance to play Ironclad, since I'd never even heard of it before picking up the cartridge. It's exactly these kinds of hidden gems that make collections like this so worthwhile. King of Fighters 2000 was fun enough, but it does suffer from the same problems as trying to play Street Fighter 2 on the Super Pocket Capcom edition. It's an absolute pain trying to pull off any of the special moves on this device. Complex fighting game inputs just weren't designed for this, I think. But overall, this is a great collection of games, and this cartridge will definitely be coming with me on the go for future adventures. Naturally, I can't wait to get hold of Neo Geo Arcade 2 and 3, and it does make me wonder what other Neo Geo games we could see on the Evercade next. Soccer Brawl would be good, maybe Aero Fighters. Oh, and what about the almighty Neo Turf Masters? It's only the greatest golf game ever made. That would be superb to have on Evercade. We'll have to wait and see. What was your favourite Neo Geo Arcade game back in the day? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons for more Evercade and retro gaming content. Until next time, bye for now.